Good evening. Welcome to the Ogden City Council meeting for November 27, 2012. Let the roll call reflect that all council members are present, and we will turn some time over to Vice Chair Blair for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. Tonight we have Joey Humphreys from Troop 56 here, and he's brought some scouts with him, and is one of them going to come and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Great.
May the audience please rise. Please repeat the Pledge of Allegiance after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Joey, don't go away too far. Stay up here and tell us what merit badge you're working on, and then we'll have your fellow scouters come up and do the same.
I am working on 2 merit badges, actually. I'm working on communications and the citizenship in the community.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate you. Any other scouters?
I'm working on the communications merit badge.
And what's your name?
Mason Norvell.
Nice to have you here.
I'm also working on the communications merit badge, and my name is Tyler Hathcock.
I am working on the communications merit badge and the citizenship in the community merit badge, and my name is Joseph Evans.
Great to have you guys here, and great to have your scout leader here with you tonight, too. Thank you, boys. Next on the agenda is a moment of silence. Thank you. Next, we have a request to be on the agenda, and this is a request from the Ogden Trails Network Committee, and Mr. Mike Joseph is going to present.
Thank you very much for your time. And I think you have in your packet the sunset report for the Ogden Trails Network.
Correct.
We believe as you look through the sunset report, you'll see a significant number of improvements to the trails. We have a number of bullets there that show completion of new segments and enhancements to key trails in the network, also underpasses to connect segments, additions of new signs to improve the hiking experience, restoration of trail segments from water storage work and heavy rainfall in the last several years, the addition of permanent restroom facilities at 2 major trailheads, continued scouting and community involvement, the addition of new communications efforts through the Take a Hike monthly article in the Examiner that spotlight individual trails, and work done by the Ogden Trails Network and Weber Pathways to enhance smartphone applications to include more of our trails in the system. However, sadly, you will also note the loss of Gib Wallace. You have been kind enough to recognize him for his great work and leadership in trail planning, building, and maintenance. However, his passing left us with a loss of volunteer leadership and a vision for making the trails safer and friendlier through a comprehensive signage plan. You know the old saying, no one is irreplaceable, but no one ever mentions how long it takes to replace someone who's special. It has left a special memory, and it has also challenged us to revisit how we do things as the Ogden Trails Network. The loss of volunteer leadership resulted in a dramatic drop in volunteer hours in 2011, along with tracking problems we had due to the loss of our longtime administrative support. We have a new administrator, Marie Alvoyd, who's done a great job of picking that back up. However, this is one that I'm happy to report that since then we have reversed significantly the participation rate, and it's moving back towards the kind of levels that we saw prior to 2011. I want to particularly note that Dave Stewart, who was Gibbs' protege and close friend, continues to be our energetic trail steward for the committee. The second vision that Gibb had, and many of us have, is a passion for a comprehensive, effective signage system across the trails. One we believe will do more than anything else to engage people in a wonderful and positive experience in one of Ogden's most wonderful assets, an asset that's available to all and free to everyone. I'd like to take a moment to expand on what we are doing on this area to demonstrate the new energy, vision, and effectiveness of the Ogden Trails Network. It also directly addresses sections B, F, G, and positively impacts sections A, D, and E of our operational goals for the next 3 years. So it's definitely worthwhile. We have spent many hours mapping Gibbs Loop, a loop that was named by you, as a prototype trail for comprehensive signage. From these efforts came a system of cataloging locations, a database of signage needs and sign types, which allowed us to develop costing for materials and estimates of volunteer manpower to put the signs in and to raise the funds necessary to make it happen. From these efforts and the encouragement of key Ogden City personnel came a chance to change our understanding of what we were allowed to do. And so with that encouragement, we are now pursuing a highly ambitious ramp grant proposal to provide comprehensive signage for all of the major trails of the Ogden Trails Network, a first for this committee. Where in the past 6 years we have been able to place over 60 signs across the trail, this ramp grant proposal will place over 4 times that many signs in about a year, and will provide a much more enjoyable experience for all who come and use the trails. We have developed a signage methodology pioneered by Gibb and now supported by Weber Pathways, Weber County, and the Bonneville Shoreline Trail that has the potential to carry all the way to Salt Lake City and all throughout North Ogden as a standard methodology. You can see some examples of that in your Sunset report, the little green signs that you see that are being used throughout the area now. We have received financial support from the mayor and matching funding from Weber Pathways towards our ramp effort. Weber Pathways has been and continues to be a very significant and beneficial partner in our efforts. And Dr. Richard White, who is a representative on our committee, is a powerful mentor and active representative on the Ogden Trails Network, as well as a sage on our trail efforts. The next part in this effort to get comprehensive signage is really true serendipity. If you'll note point B under operational goal, it was to eliminate unwanted trails between 12th and 29th Street. In our exploration of this area, and thanks to the work of Jerome Berg, a member of our committee, we discovered a highly active trail section known as the Old Middle Trail, and more importantly, a highly active hiking area and climbing area known as the Boulders and the Schoolroom, both maintained by the climbing community under the leadership of Shad Byrne and the Ogden Front Climbing Club. We have begun actively working with them, and Shad is now a partner of the OTM and a regular attendee of our meetings. He and Jerome have marked the trails for signage needs, and Ogden Front will provide financial support and volunteer labor to help in our ramp grant proposal, and they have committed to an Adopt a Trail sponsorship for this segment of the trails to ensure its maintenance for many years to come. Then on top of that, Weber State University's College of Science, under the leadership of Dean David Maddie, has developed a vision for the creation of an installation of interpretive signage to enhance our trails. Drawing on the knowledge of the professors and students from the various ologies at the school, it provides the people of Ogden, visitors, and the students from the university an opportunity to understand the unique makeup of our mountains and ecosystem. Under the leadership of Sarah Yearsley and the help of Amanda Gentry, we have begun partnering with them and are incorporating a prototype trail into our ramp grant proposal. I think their overview and mission says it best. A prototype initiative, science-based interpretive signage program developed for Weber County, Utah Trails Network through the support of Weber State University's College of Science and Ogden Trails Network Committee. The mission is to promote quality hiking experiences from connections created between the visitor and the environment, cultivated through awareness, understanding, and appreciation of the nature and geology heritage of the Weber County Wasatch Front. The key benefits to the community from this is, first of all, we'll now be developing not only a standard for our trail signage, but we'll also be creating a standard for our interpretive signage. And this will become a methodology that we want to pursue going into the future. We've seen already enthusiastic involvement from the various schools within the College of Science, and we're starting to see this expand to other colleges within the university. We've also received endorsement from both university presidents, the current and the past, and we have begun a strategic long-term relationship between the city and the university for the development and maintenance of trails on the Weber State property. The exciting part of this is not only are we providing the knowledge, but they're also providing funding and manpower to help in support of this program. So through this ramp grant effort, we have continued the strong partnership with Weber Pathways and through Richard and their financial support and ongoing volunteering efforts. We've added 2 new partners, an Ogden Front Climbing Club and Weber State University, incorporated an active but hidden trail area into the Ogden Trails community, created a new level of education and knowledge for hikers through Weber State University's innovative efforts, and have 4 sources of matching funds to help in our efforts to have a successful ramp grant. It's important to know that this wouldn't have been possible without the excellent efforts of Perry Huntfaker in encouraging us, guiding us, supporting this effort with resources and preparing all the necessary elements to present a powerful ramp grant on the part of the Ogden Trails Network. What else are we doing? Well, we have 2 nominees that we hopefully hope that you will approve next week. We have 2 nominees who have already stepped up and set up our Facebook page, and we invite you to visit it. It's listed as the Ogden Trails Network on the Facebook site. We've begun development of an Ogden Trails Network specific web page using the city format. We will continue the Take a Hike feature, a project pioneered and overseen by Ron Thornburg, with active support from the Ogden Trails Network, Weber Pathways, and now Davis County Trails Network. Ron is sitting right here next to me. We plan to enhance our relationship with leading trails apps, again through Ron and the Weber Pathways efforts. Dave Stewart, who is the soul of the trails, continues to provide trail development and refurbishment leadership and is helping us grow new trail leaders to enhance our volunteer efforts and to exceed past performance of roughly about 2,000 to 2,500 hours a year. We've started a cross-committee relationship with the biking community to develop future joint signage and communications efforts. We've developed a strategic relationship, as we mentioned, between Ogden City and Weber State University, which we plan to extend to cover all major trails across the Ogden Front. And we're beginning a vision of development of a multi-skilled, multi-tiered trail network. So we have blue diamond, blue, black, and trail systems so we can have kids and aggressive hikers both enjoy the system. We have 5 nominees that will be before you next week, and we actively promote that they be approved. Each has already been a valuable and committed partner in the OTN. Darren Gordino and David Owen are responsible for our Facebook page and are key contributors to our website effort. Tim Peterson, amazingly enough, has already biked the entire major trail network and marked off all of our current trail signage for us, something that we thought would take at least several weeks of effort. Sam Henry has already identified our first corporate sponsor, and Sarah Yearsley has been the untiring driver of our Weber State effort. These 5 fill our current needs, but it's important to know that this is an eclectic committee and not a set of people who've been doing the same thing for years. And we all have new passion, and this passion comes from both our current members and our soon-to-be new members, all sharing Gibbs' vision for fun, friendly opportunities to experience nature and a way to bring nature to the people of northern Utah. And finally, there's one person I would like to take a special effort to single out, and that's Eric Deems. Greg Montgomery has always provided us top-notch people to help support and guide our team's efforts. His latest representative is no exception. Eric Deems, who is sitting right here, has been a critical key to our growing momentum and effort. In fact, I feel Eric has not only been a tireless worker, but has been the single most powerful influence in our accomplishments, and we all wanted you to know of the great work that he's doing. Following these comments, we are presenting proposed ordinance 2012-42, which addresses Section H of our operational goals of updating our ordinance. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your time again, and I ask that you consider extending our term to June of 2015, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Very good presentation, Mike.
If there's no further discussion, with pleasure, I would suggest that we adopt ordinance 2012-42.
I'll second it.
We have a motion from
Chair.
Council.
I apologize. I think it would be beneficial to have a presentation on the ordinance, given that it's changing some of the, several different terms, and even the number of members of the committee. So I know Mr. Montgomery's planning to do that.
He was hoping you were going to ask him.
So if
Thank
you wouldn't
you.
mind intervening, you still have your motion and your second that you can consider, but
We'll hold on
the-
that till after the presentation. Okay. Greg?
I don't know if I was hoping on that or not, but as Mike mentioned, with the dynamics that is taking place with the Trails Committee and the broader aspect than it was originally formed back a couple decades ago now, the desire was to have a better representation of trail advocates that are throughout the city, and not the specific locations where trailheads had been, which is what the original format was. Because of that changing nature, we felt, the Trails Committee felt it was very important to revise the ordinance as far as the makeup of the committee and have them more at-large members who are concerned with all the aspects of trails, because as you know, the trails are not now just the East Bench. We have down the Parkway. We look at other opportunities for connections to those major segments through other areas. And so that broader scope is important, and that's why it was felt that the makeup of the committee should be altered and not be identified just by trailhead locations, but by more general areas of the city in that large position, so that there could be a more efficient committee force to promote trails throughout the city. And so that is really the major change that is being proposed in this makeup, is to change that configuration so it's not limited to one person for this trailhead, one person for this trailhead, but more about large positions for general areas throughout the city. And the number change in the committee format was basically because of the experience Mike mentioned back a year ago, where it was being difficult to create a quorum. And so based on what happens with our membership, to have the flexibility that if we can't get 15 people, let's at least allow the quorum to be the deciding factor, that they could meet and actually take action items, rather than, well, we don't have 8 people here this time, so we can't act on things. And again, that was another technical change that we felt important to make to the ordinance. With that, again, the recommendation is to approve that ordinance revision.
Any questions for Mr. Montgomery? Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chair, just one other note that it's actually a fairly minor item, but does allow subcommittees to be formed as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, one more thing I just noticed. Does add that a vice chair will be elected annually. Prior, it was just chair. Now there's chair and a vice chair. Thank you.
And I noticed they just changed, instead of just specific canyons and trails, they've given an area. And I think that is very wise, so thank you. So with that, we have a motion from Councilmember Gochner and a second from Councilmember Van Hoosier to adopt proposed ordinance 2012-42. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Gochner.
Aye.
Councilmember Heyer.
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens.
Aye.
Councilmember Van Hoosier.
Aye.
Councilmember Wicks.
Aye.
Vice Chair Blair.
Aye.
Chair Garner.
Aye. This passes. And thank you for this wonderful opportunity for us to continue to have this jewel in our community. And I hope these boys that are sitting right behind you take advantage and join in helping in these efforts. Thank you for all your efforts with this. We appreciate it. Next on the agenda is a report from the Planning Commission. Again, Mr. Montgomery.
Mr. Chair and members of the council, the Planning Commission has forwarded to you a recommendation regarding a revision to the manufacturing ordinance. This revision came about because of the discussions we've had recently about an item that took place back in 2006, where a petition was filed to the city to amend the manufacturing zones to allow a facility that allowed kind of a holistic approach to health and mental well-being to be allowed in the manufacturing zones that would involve both indoor and outdoor activity. When that ordinance was considered back in 2006, while the petition stated they wanted to change the manufacturing zone to allow this, the actual ordinance only amended and changed the manufacturing M2 zone, but did not alter the M1 zone. As time has gone on, the facility has found a new location in an M1 zone, and as they came and approached the city about, well, can we go to this location, we looked at the ordinance and said, well, you know what, it's not allowed in the M1. We don't know why. So we went back and traced and found out that what had transpired was, for some reason, the discussion really focused on their desired site back in 2006, which is M2, and that's where the focus was. And the M1 zone was not amended. As the Planning Commission felt it appropriate to take a look at that again, they looked at it and considered it in their November meeting and felt that it was appropriate to amend the zone to also allow the same use in an M1 zone, which is a less intense zone than the M2 zone. The rationale behind it was that we have indoor recreation uses as a permitted use in both M1 and M2. We have outdoor recreation uses permitted in the M1 and M2. And where this is kind of a blend of those type of activities, it makes sense that this also be allowed in the M1 and M2 rather than just limit it to the M2. It has no adverse side effects to any other uses that could be found in an M1 zone. And so the commission recommended that the ordinance be amended to allow this use also to be in the M1 as it presently is allowed in the M2 zone. Any questions?
Thank you. And we will now receive input regarding this proposed ordinance. And please limit or state your name for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Good evening, council members. My name is Mike Selesnik. I live up in Huntsville, Utah, and this is actually our petition that we had brought back in 2006. You know, we live in Huntsville, but we've always called Ogden our home. We have had our business here for 13 years, and it has been an absolutely amazing place to be. And in 2006, we were approved for a $7 million grant for a program that deals with visually handicapped rehabilitation. And so we had, gotten this area that was absolutely perfect out on the river, and we're going to be able to we do exercise and meditation and martial arts, health and fitness, all that kind of stuff. And needless to say, the grant fell through and the economy fell through, and we're still on the docket for it, but the funding just hasn't recovered yet. And so we found another location, which is an amazing spot. But when we went to go get our business license, they said, "Oh, you can't be there." We were like, "Oh, how come?" And I looked through the zoning, and it said that in the M1 zone, it was okay to do any type of indoor sports. You could do soccer, you could do BMX or motocross racing or anything indoor. You could do anything outdoor, and that was fine. You could do any type of a church or religious thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, look at right here. It says martial arts and health and fitness and meditation. That's not allowed. And they don't like us. Wow, how come? And so I came over to the Planning Commission, and oh my gosh, you've got an amazing group of folks over here. They remembered me 6 years later. Like, they knew exactly who I was, and they're like, no, that's back in 2006. We were supposed to do both of them, and it just didn't go through. And so here we are again today running the circle. We absolutely love doing business here in Ogden, and you all treat us so well. We want to continue that, and we just need the go-ahead to make sure that our business is suitable for this location. we're still pushing forward with that program. Actually, I'm scheduled to leave on Sunday for Indonesia to go train with the royal family and bring that program back here in full force and really bring a lot more attention, a lot more, flow of not only publicity and funded here into Ogden, because that's always been a big goal of ours as well. And so we're ready to blast off. We just need the okay. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for your time and for hearing us, and thank you. Do you have any questions for me?
Are you planning to make any improvements on the building that you're going into?
Well, we actually have been, painting and doing that kind of stuff to kind of dress it up a little bit. It was a discount grocery store before, and it literally had this much dirt inside of it. So we've been through about 400 shop back of bags, and we just barely got done with the painting, and we're about ready to roll, but we haven't needed to really do any changes or anything like that. It was suitable for our use. We just had to clean it up. So everything is good. We will, in the springtime, I think, be definitely painting the outside of the building and making it a lot more presentable. There's some chain link fence that has razor wire around it. We want to put some vinyl fencing in, make it look a little bit more appropriate, and maybe do an awning, something that represents Indonesia and the culture there. Brings a little bit of panache to our facade, and other than that, everything is good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay. Comments from council members?
I remember that too. As a planning commissioner back in that time, it did seem to slip through the cracks that didn't get done. So it seems like this is an appropriate ordinance amendment to make this work. So if there's no other comment, I will make a motion to adopt. Let me find it here. Ordinance 2012-49 to allow the indoor-outdoor recreational business in the M1 zone.
I second it.
We have a motion from Councilmember Heyer and a second from Councilmember Stevens to adopt proposed ordinance 2012-49. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Heyer.
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens.
Aye.
Councilmember Van Hoosier.
Aye.
Councilmember Wicks.
Aye.
Councilmember Gochner.
Aye.
Vice Chair Blair.
Aye.
Chair Garner.
Aye. This passes. Thank you. Next on the agenda is public comments. This is an opportunity to address the council regarding your concerns or ideas. Please state your name and address for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes. In this form of government, all city personnel are the responsibility of the administration, not of the council. Please discuss any concerns you may have regarding staff with the mayor, chief administrative officer, or department directors. Comments from administration.
I'll just quickly take a moment to publicly thank everyone and all the volunteers that made the Christmas Village parade and everything else so amazing over the weekend. Estimates for 20,000 people got to come downtown and participate in that. Weather worked out really well, but it's always done by a tremendous amount of people that spend all fall volunteering and putting that together, and we really appreciate everything everybody puts into that. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. Council staff.
Maybe just to note that now that the Ogden Trails Network Committee has been reinstated, next week will be the consideration of the appointments.
Thank you. And council members.
Mr. Chair, I also echo that there was a tremendous amount of energy last Saturday in the city, and it was nice to see us all enjoy the festivities that were there. And Carolyn Brierly had a great deal to do with that, and we appreciate all her work that she's went forth in providing an activity in our city. And Mr. Chair, I think some scouts have come in late. I don't know if you wanted to approach them or not, but.
Okay. Any other council member comments?
I've been in a lot of holiday parades, and I think this was the most well-attended, and there was just such good energy. Even Bah Humbug Jeff was excited about it, and that's a huge accomplishment. So it was really a great event, and just seems to get better each year. So thank you to all of those who made it possible, and the Santa Run and all of the events associated with it. They do a great job.
What a fabulous thing for downtown Ogden. It was, and Carolyn, you did a fantastic job. Yeah, it's a good job. And everybody else involved with you.
Oh, sorry. I just had one comment to add, but.
Go ahead.
I agree with everything everyone said, and on a different note, I just wanted to call out the Pioneers Day Rodeo, because they're once again one of the 5 finalists for the best outdoor rodeo in the United States, and we'll find out next week whether or not they get it. So
great. Okay, now we've had some other boys join us. Some troops came in a little bit late, so why don't I have a representative from, I think it's 2 troops that came in. I know there's one on the back row and one over here behind the pillar. So why don't you boys come up and introduce, we'll have you all come up, introduce your name and tell us what merit badge you're working on and what troop you're from. So I'll make it easy for all of you to come up.
My name is Butch Nyland. We're working on the communications merit badge, and one of the requirements, you have to go to a city council meeting.
Great to have you here.
My name's Michael Donaldson, and we're Troop 201, and we're working on the communications merit badge, and I really love this merit badge. It's really fun.
You.
I'm Garrett Allen, so yeah, that's pretty much it.
David Barker, same.
Okay, thanks guys. Then the next troop. 2 boys?
I'm sorry. My name is Ace Stansfield. We're Troop 167, and right now we're working on the communications and citizenship in the community. And one of the things was to attend the city council meeting.
Thank you.
Here's Austin Gill, and we're just working on the communications merit badge and the citizenship in the community.
And boys, thank your leaders for bringing you here tonight. It's a great job that they're here. Thank you, boys. Any other council or any other comments? Okay.
yeah.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion from Councilmember Wicks and a second from Councilmember Heyer to adjourn the city council meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. As a reminder, there will be a city council work session held in the city council workroom immediately following this meeting. The purpose of the work session is to have council mayor discussion and to discuss further consideration of chickens in residential areas, arts grant recommendations, and proposed mid-year fee changes and other council business. Thank you.